welcome back to the channel. Today I thought we could talk a little bit about relaxing the foot. Now, how often do you struggle to go to sleep? And you know it would really help if someone could just massage your feet. Maybe you get hot feet at night and that's part of the problem. So they could use like a cooling lotion and just massage your feet and cool them down. So here's some really easy to follow massage tips just to help you relax, ideally with the end goal of going to sleep, and to really help you get into that zone to nod off and have a good, hopefully a good night's sleep. Right, so I've got my preferred lotion today, but you can use oil, you can use body lotion, hand lotion, just a cooling foot lotion, that would be really nice too. And just cover that foot. You don't need to use a lot, you just want to be able to perform a little bit of massage. As we always say, your slip and slide. You can start with a little bit of prayer movement, so start at the top of those toes and just use the hands and the prayer movement to slide down that foot. Now take it nice and slowly, because ideally if someone's trying to get to sleep, maybe they're in their bed, and if you're that lovely person that's helping them to relax, then they might be in that position trying to sleep. As I say, they might have really hot feet, they might not be feeling 100%, they might be trying to relax, maybe they have insomnia, maybe they're excited for something and they just can't get to sleep and they're saying, please can you relax me? There are so many different reasons why a foot massage to help you get to sleep can be beneficial. But you can do some effleurage just to warm up. And then if you hold the bottom of the foot at the heel, if you then take hold of the toes and just sort of clamp your thumb around the base of the big toe, and then you can stretch out that foot. Now I'm doing this, obviously if someone's got contraindications or reasons why you can't do this, then don't. So you're not going to be doing this if somebody's actually got an ailment or a reason why they can't have a foot massage. So do your research there and make sure that it's safe to do so. But you're supporting at the base of the foot and then you're just stretching out. Surprisingly relaxing. You wouldn't think that such a simple stretch would be so effective, but it is. And then you can reverse that and you can support at the back of the toes, and you can actually very gently stretch in. Now you might feel cracks and crunchies. If someone's foot is resisting, don't force it, but quite often people don't even know they're doing it. They fight back, they tense up and they fight with the foot, and you can't actually move it. So just go with where it wants to go. But surprisingly effective and very relaxing. Another one that you wouldn't realise you can support at the base of the toes is actually to pull and give the toes a little stretch. But again, don't pull it and tug it. Just a gentle, firm but gentle pull. And then release. And you can just use the thumb and the index finger. A firm but gentle pull at each toe. And again, you'd be surprised how effective and gentle and nice and relaxing that feels. But be slow, be gentle, because the goal here is to soothe someone into a sleep state. And then the little baby toe. And then what can also be effective is to actually do little circles. So again, you're holding, you're almost clamping the hand at the base of the toes, and then firm but gentle circles. If you don't know how long to do them for, you could count 10 ways in one direction, followed by 10 in another direction, if you just want an idea of how long to do it. And then you work along each toe. Again, you can be very, very gently pulling at the toe while you're doing these circles, and don't be alarmed if there's a bit of cracking and crunching. That can be completely normal. But this, again, can help lull someone into a sleepy state. They might choose to have their favourite music on. Maybe they want to have on a programme that they enjoy, a podcast they enjoy, or nothing at all. Maybe they want to talk to you, maybe they don't. It depends. Some people can be chatting and then the chat just slowly stops and then they fall asleep. Other people just want complete silence. They want music, just a goal to get sleepy. We can also do the lymphatic milking move rather. The mood is sleep, where you just take the webbed part of your hand in between your thumb and your index finger, and you move into the gap between each of the toes, and you very gently squeeze and release, and that is helping to boost lymphatic drainage, which can also help. It's a very nice move to experience, a very gentle, relaxing move. But then because you can't hook in so easily in the subsequent toes, you then move to using the thumb and the index finger, but it's the same move. Maybe about half a dozen times if you're not sure how many. And then again, just keep moving along. And then some very simple reflexology moves. Now, if you've never experienced it, or if you've never actually performed it, it's good that you take a look at reflexology, because you want to know why you're doing it and how you're doing it. And again, there's always contraindications with everything, reasons why you can't do a treatment. But the big toe, you can really help to relax the body and calm the mind if you just do some reflexology just over the entire big toe. So what you would do is just work in strips. So you're supporting the toe at the back, and then we call it the wiggle walk. And what it basically is your thumb just caterpillaring, if that's the right word, the caterpillar walk, the wiggle walk. That's what you're doing. You're just wiggling the thumb along. Sometimes you need a bit of a practice to begin with, but all you do, and they say this is very effective for calming the mind, relaxing that head, just relaxing everything, is just work along I nearly called it the thumb. It's the big toe. It's your thumb that you're using. And you're just working in strips. And that is helping to calm the mind. Now you can do this maybe 3 times in total. Just do your wiggle walk. Now, because it's reflexology, you might find a little bit of grittiness. Sometimes it feels like sand or grit underneath. And that's because, again, you're helping to balance the body, and there might be some imbalance in that area. And if that's the case, that's where you can sometimes feel a bit of, as they say, sort of grittiness or sandiness under the skin. But you might feel nothing. So that can be very effective. And again, what you do on one foot, you repeat on the other. But another thing that you can do is work up, sort of work the midline. So you know where you've got the ball of the foot. If you follow that line there, there's a sort of, normally there's a change in colour in people's feet, and it tends to be a bit redder here, and then it goes a little bit paler here. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people. You can follow that line, so you can work from the toe to the outside of the baby toe, and then you can reverse it back and work back to the big toe. And the theory is, again, that it's a move that relaxes the body. So you're doing your wiggle walk, relaxes the mind, and by relaxing the mind, the theory is you then relax the body. And then you can also work upwards, and again, supposedly just incredibly calming, incredibly relaxing. But if someone doesn't like it, they'll soon let you know. And you could do this maybe 3 or 4 times. You're always supporting the foot. If you don't support the foot, it can be flopping about everywhere. So a little bit of support, and it means that you've got a bit of control. And you would just cover that area. And then what you might choose to do is support underneath the heel, grip onto the mid part of the foot, and just do some very gentle ankle circles. And again, don't be alarmed if there's crunching and cracking, that's normal. There's a lot of little bones there. You might want to take the thumbs and do the circles where you start off at the heel and you do circles, and each time you do a circle you work a little bit further up the foot. Keep sliding up until eventually you get under the toes, and then when you get under the toes you stretch and you just get this lovely stretch at the base at each of those toes. And you can do that maybe 3 or 4 times. Very relaxing. And then one of my favourites is when you gently wring the foot. So each hand is working alternately and you're just giving that foot a lovely wring, and you're working up and down the foot, covering that area till you get to the heel but also to the base of the toes. And then you might want to do a little bit more of your prayer movement effleurage. You should feel that the foot should be a bit warmer at this point, a little bit gentler, a little bit looser. But what you might also feel if you've been using a cooling lotion, you might actually feel that coolness within your hands too. And again, if they're still awake, they might tell you how it's feeling too. And then once you've done both feet, you can go into the mid part here, the sort of solar plexus move, where you just push in and release, push in and release. And again, a relaxing move, but as we've said before, also the theory being that you are transferring your positive energy to that person. There's this connection, this flow of energy. If you believe it, I know not everybody does, but at the minimum it feels good. It can also help to relax you, and if you believe it, you've got that cycle of nice positive flowing energy. But again, you do it for your reasons and your benefits. And ideally by that point the person will be feeling so relaxed that they'll be ready to fall asleep. They might even be asleep, and then you'll think, right, job done, I can go and watch my programmes in peace now. I hope that this is effective for you. I hope you find it relaxing. I'd love to know if you do any foot massages for the benefits of sleep. I'll go and match up this foot now, and you relax, have a lovely day, and I'll see you again soon.